The ace is a phrase used in Japan to describe the top star of the company. When you're the ace of a company, you are the person they rely on the most. You are the person the company is built around. There's been discussions over who is the ace of AEW due to the amount of Japanese influence the company has. People have brought up Kenny Omega, people have brought up MJF. But to me, the ace of AEW is Jon Moxley. And today, I'm going to be listing reasons why. Welcome to the Wrestling Universe channel. My name is Cosk, and today I'm going to be talking about why Jon Moxley is the ace of AEW. The first reason we're going to bring up, and this is probably the main reason, is reliability. From day one of this company, Jon Moxley has been their most reliable performer. From their very first show, he wasn't there at the beginning of the announcement, sure, but from their first show where it truly counts, Moxley ended the show on top. He ended it standing tall over Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho, and since then, he's always been that top guy for the company. And not just that, he hasn't just been booked as a top guy more than pretty much anybody else. Because you look at anyone else on the roster, they have spent less time in that main event scene than Jon Moxley has. You've either seen them fall due to more competition or just declining in skills due to age. You've seen people get suspended for long periods of time. You've seen people get injured for long periods of time. You've seen people get released from the company. You've seen people leave the company on their own will. You've seen it all. And yes, you've seen guys rise up to positions bigger than Moxley, but Moxley still stays at that top position, and he's been that since day one of the company putting on shows. And not just that, not only is it about push, but it's also about what Moxley has done for the company. He has had a lot of breaks scheduled that he's had to not do due to the company being in need of him. When Brawls happened, who stepped up? It was Jon Moxley. And this is a recurring thing in AEW's history where Jon Moxley always steps up when the company is in need. He is reliable. He will be your world champion. He will be your mid-card champion. He will be in a stable. He will be on his own. He can do whatever. And he is the most reliable performer AEW have, especially at that top level. When you're as reliable as Jon Moxley, especially at the top level, good things tend to happen to you. And those good things happen to be a lot of championships. And that is our second reason. Jon Moxley has accolades that no one else has in AEW. He's a 3-time world champion. He's pretty much the person I define with that. And when I think of the AEW World Championship, the first name that comes to mind is Jon Moxley. Because the majority of the time I've been watching AEW, he has been the world champion. He carries them during the pandemic as the world champion. He was the world champion when Punk got injured. He was the world champion following Brawl Out. Moxley is their guy. Moxley is the person they put that title on. Moxley is the person AEW rely on to be the world champion. This is a very common thing in AEW, the world champion being Jon Moxley. But he's also a mid-card champion now. He is the international champion. And to me, the title has a lot of prestige after the run of Orange Cassidy. The international championship is probably the most fun championship in AEW because you usually see weekly defenses of it with a great champion against great opponents. So Moxley has a lot of accolades, and I think, well, there's not much to say about that. It is kayfabe after all. That's a big sign to him being the ace because the company puts their faith in him so many times. And at the end of the day, it's the company who decides who the ace is. And history tells you that they think Moxley is their ace because of the way they push him. The next reason why I think Jon Moxley is the ace is more of a conversation because it really depends on your personal opinion. What we discussed before was factual. It is factual that Moxley is incredibly reliable for AEW. You just have to look at their history. It is factual that he has a lot of accolades. You just have to look at his accolades. 3-time world champion, one-time international champion. This man has been covered in gold in his AEW run. But this is more up to debate, and there are people who are big fans of Moxley in this aspect, and people who absolutely despise Moxley in this aspect. I lean more on the positive side. I am a big Moxley fan, and what I'm talking about is quality of work. Jon Moxley, to me, and this is my opinion, and if you disagree, that's fine, but to me, is a great TV wrestler. I feel like he cuts fantastic promos that really get under your skin if he's a heel and really hype you up if he's a babyface. I think his matches, while yes, there are critiques, maybe he bleeds a bit too much, but I rest his reasoning, and while I don't agree with it necessarily, I don't hate it as much as some people do. It's not something I would prefer. I do think blood should be special in pro wrestling, but it's not something I absolutely despise. I can get over it. But overall, when it comes to the ring, Jon Moxley usually entertains me. Jon Moxley usually has really good matches. You look back at some of the matches he's had. Matches with Danielson, matches with Jericho, which have been some of Jericho's better matches in AEW. Matches with Omega, other than one specific match that we probably shouldn't talk about, specifically just the finish, not the work that the men put in. You have the matches with MJF, you have the matches with Punk, one very short but totally fantastic story, and the other, one of Punk's hidden gems of AEW. Moxley has always been reliable to me personally for his work. I've always been a big fan of Moxley. I think that he was really underrated in his time in the WWE, and ever since he came to AEW, he's been producing phenomenal work. He's must watch, in my opinion. Now, is he for everyone? No. And I respect people who he's not for. But is he for me? Absolutely. I'm a big Jon Moxley fan, and I probably always will be. But what do you guys think? Are you a fan of Jon Moxley? And if you aren't, do you still agree with the fact that he may very well be the ace of AEW based on his accolades and reliability only? Let me know what you think. Thank you for joining me. If you're interested in content like this, subscribe for more. Have a nice day.